There you go.
Coming to you from the Poorly Painted Studios in Cumming, Georgia, this is the Chuck and Z Show. And now, here's Chuck and Z.
Look, there's Z.
Hey.
There's me. And there's both of us.
Boast of us?
Boast of us. What up, everybody? Welcome to the Chuck and Z Show. This is the Just Us episode 2, where it's just us. Of course, as always, our producer Sharon.
Yes.
Over there, not wanting to be on the mic tonight, but that's okay. No, it was actually, she's like, I'm just want to come in and just enjoy.
I'm your support. Hey.
Sharon is awesome. So we had a great week.
We did.
You got to do a lot of cool stuff this week. We got to do a lot of cool stuff this week.
We did.
You want to start with an update on the bikes?
Absolutely.
All right. So everybody knows we're building these Road Glide STs. We went through a bit of a journey with the wheels because I wanted carbon wheels, BTS wheels.
Yes, we wanted.
We wanted carbon wheels, and no one could find them.
Yeah.
Couldn't find them anywhere. And we were told they were on back order for what, 4 or 5 months?
Yeah. It was a long time. We started these builds the end of January, beginning of February.
It's taking a minute.
Now the end of May.
It's taking a minute.
So, yeah, it's taking a little bit of time, but I'm being patient because I know the hard work that's being put into them. So yeah. I understand. At the same time, you get this feeling that like, I just want my bike already.
I want my bike.
I want to ride my bike.
No, everybody we're working with is great, but these things take time.
Yeah.
And we've done so much to these bikes.
Yes.
But just so happens that the builder where our bikes are being built at was at a event and ran into one of the guys from Reinhardt.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're getting ready to sell BTS carbon fiber wheels." And Keith was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?"
Right.
Because I need some. So Keith worked it out. We literally got the first set that came out of Reinhardt. Reinhardt showed up.
Yeah. That was
so
pretty cool.
Cool.
Came and delivered them personally to Killer Creek. We got to meet Andrew from Reinhardt. Super awesome guy. They're in Asheville, so it's only a 2.5 hour ride.
And we got some Columbia, South Carolina connections where I'm originally from.
Yeah.
Some of the folks there actually went to the university.
Yeah.
And that's where they all met, was in Columbia.
I know.
It's pretty cool.
It's kind of a coincidence in a small world.
Yeah. So they showed up and they did a little interview with us, and then they filmed some of the install video. We got to see the wheels on the bike, which they look good.
They are so beautiful. And I originally was going to do a yellow stripe around, just like my bike that I have now, because I wanted to add the extra layer of just of the yellow to tie it all in. But looking at those wheels and seeing them in their true form, like I can't add a yellow stripe to it. It would totally, I just couldn't see it on the wheel. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going straight carbon. They are badass. I can't wait to ride with them.
They're super light.
They're so light. It's like a quarter of the weight of a stock wheel. And I could pick it up with one hand. It's so nice. And apparently it gives you extra power when you're braking. So good braking power. And also when you're cornering, it adds to that. And that's why the racers ride with those with carbon fiber wheels. So
they look so good. They just look so pretty.
Super excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them on the bikes. And then you got to ride a Moto Guzzi this week.
I did. So Anna, that works with Moto Guzzi's America, reached out to me on Soch and wanted to know if I wanted to try out a Moto Guzzi. So I originally was like, do I want to ride a Moto Guzzi? But then I was like, you know what? I want to ride I want to see what the different motorcycles feel like. I've mostly ridden Harley, and I love Harley, and I'm keeping my Harley because there's just something about the way that engine sounds and the way it rides. It's what I love. But that Moto Guzzi was pretty sweet. I will say that I tried to not like it, and I failed. It was a really nice ride. I'm 5'2", for those of you who don't know that how short I am.
You're a shorty.
I'm a shorty. So my feet do not touch on the ground when I'm on that bike. I do have to, one leg it here and there. But for the most part, it was a very comfortable ride. Like I was able to get it out, of first and go. And it's lighter than my Road Glide. It's about half the size as far as the weight goes. So it was fun. And then we took a nice adventure into our favorite part of North Georgia, which are the Suches Mountains and Blood Mountain and Wolf Pin Gap. I had to test her out on that, and I mean, she did a great job. It was really fun.
Yeah, she looked like you were able to corner really well with her.
Yeah.
How'd she do on the get up and go?
Amazing.
She's got some good power.
I think from first to second, it's a little bit like trying to get there. But then when you get in the third and fourth, you can accelerate very well in fourth, in fifth, and in sixth. Like I was taking it back today and trying to get through some traffic on 285.
She didn't want to say that out loud.
And so I was able to like weave through. Like I'm not gonna lie. This lady almost freaking cut me off in a lane. Like I was going into the lane and she was coming in, and I'm like, "What? You did not see me?"
No.
And then ignored me when I got up on her, and I was like, "Yo, you almost freaking ran me off the road or into the other freaking 18-wheeler. Like what the hell?" And she straightforward, like didn't even try to make eye contact.
You cannot rely on other people.
No, absolutely not.
Or even their ability to do anything if they do see you.
Right.
You always have to operate the bike in a way that's within your control.
100%. I was riding very, very defensively. No, seriously. I mean, it was a line of traffic.
I've met you, right?
One thing I didn't realize, though, I told Derek at Southeast Motorcycle, shout out to Southeast Motorcycles for the loan and Moto Guzzi's America. But I was telling Derek that they put a governor on at 100 miles per hour. Like, what's up, dude? And he's like, no. He's like, that's not. No, they can go faster. And I was like, well, I was only to get up to like 110. He's like, she can go faster. So I think that red blinking light just tells you, get ready to change gears. And I was like, does this bike have a seventh gear? He's
was
like,
this on
no.
the track when we took it to the track when you were doing 110?
Yeah, exactly.
Allegedly.
So allegedly.
I'm
sorry. But
you got to hedge your bets.
I know.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I could only get it to 110.
Right.
Okay.
But one thing that really tested me was riding home last night, and you were getting on Kiddo, and I could not keep up with you. And I definitely can when I'm on my Road Glide.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have as much power. I mean, we've souped up our bikes too, so they're going to be a lot more powerful. But for a stock bike, I like it.
Oh no, it's a gorgeous bike.
It's beautiful.
It's the lines of it are nice. The color scheme is great. Love the green on it.
I know.
It looks sharp. And then I noticed when I was looking in my mirrors that the headlight kind of looks like the Batwing.
Does it?
From Batman.
Yeah.
So it's a good looking bike.
Yeah.
I didn't ride it. Threw my leg over it just to check it out. I was going to try to sneak a ride. No one heard that. Allegedly. Allegedly, I was going to sneak a ride on it, but I didn't get to. I've ridden sport bikes. I've been on Ducatis.
Yeah.
They're great bikes. I love them. They're for what they're amazing bikes. As I've said before, and I will say again, if I could own one of every bike, I would.
I know.
I absolutely would. I'm not a guy who's like, I just happen to love the overall experience of riding a Harley on a regular basis. And so why not just put my efforts mostly into that bike if that's what I'm going to be riding. But if I could just like have a stable of everything, that bike be in there.
Yeah.
That'd be a bike that I would have in my stable to go take up to the mountains and zip around on.
Yeah.
For sure.
I would definitely consider that. It's a very comfortable ride.
Is it? I was going to ask you that. Is it comfy?
It's very comfortable.
It
like I was
wasn't
expecting
heavy?
to be like sore in my shoulders and my arms and like get tired of riding upright like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the seating position is perfect and I wasn't even sore when I got home.
It's funny that it was still comfy when they slammed it for you. They took all they took everything out.
Sorry, they try to make it lower for me. But yeah, they put the rear suspension all the way down and it was still comfy.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well,
I was surprised at being able to just hop on that bike, not having ridden any type of metric bike before.
Yeah.
And be comfortable with the shifting and the cornering. It was a fun experience. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, when we were on the way home,
Yes.
I'd been playing nice all day.
He's like, I was going slow for you this whole time.
I was letting that bike stay with me. I was just not getting too close. I was filming,
Yes.
trying to make sure I got some good footage of you on it.
Yes.
But when we were on the way home, I was like, I have not ridden my bike
I know.
all day.
Not even through the twisties like you typically do.
So
You were following me the whole time.
she's going to get flogged going through Cumming, Georgia on the way home.
He's like, I'm going to show you what this beast has to offer.
My God, listen, I love my bike. I mean, I know that's a funny thing to hear, but I do. I know we're building new ones, and I'm going to have to say goodbye to this one soon.
I know.
But, man, she will take a beating. Like, I get on her, and now that we've got to know each other over a year, I know exactly how temperamental she is, exactly where she's got a problem.
Stop.
It's true. No,
You're going to make me cry when we have to give these up.
When I first started riding her, she was a little bit of a bitch. Like,
was.
there were some things that I had to figure out with that bike, and then she kept trying to pop clutch cables. But then once we got Barnett's and got that shit figured out, she's been a bad little bitch.
I know.
And when I get on her, she's like, all right, I give. Let's go.
I got you.
I got
your
it.
back.
I didn't want to do this at first, but this is how you ride, so we're gonna ride.
Yeah. They've been really good ever since.
They haven't had a single problem.
No.
It's interesting. Like, we've had folks in here who talk about riding other motorcycles, and everyone always says, "Oh, Harley's always this and that." And they always break down, and it's like, I haven't had that experience.
Yeah.
Every time I've had a problem on most motorcycles, even that beat up old Ducati, usually it was my fault. I did something dumb, didn't check something right, left the lights on and the battery died. Anytime I've actually had a problem with a bike that I own, it was 100% my fault.
Yeah.
I've never had a problem whether it just did not. I even dropped the bolt for the battery.
Oh yeah, and the V-Rod. Oh my
so
gosh.
on
that
a
was
V-Rod,
disaster.
right where the battery is stationed, there's a vacuum tube or vacuum hole that goes down into the engine.
Under the seat.
Right. So when you pull that up, and so a lot of people think that front part of a V-Rod is a gas tank. It's not. The gas tank's actually under your butt. That's just a breather.
Yeah.
It's a huge air breather. That's why sometimes when you mod them, they go top off. That means you go in, you take the top of that breather off. So it's pushing air up through that breather, right? So it has a vacuum hose that breathes the engine, right? Helps the engine breathe.
Yeah.
Well, when I went to pull that little bolt off, it went ding, looked at me on the edge, and went beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
And I heard it fall for a long time.
Yeah.
So I knew it went past the little lip area.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to be able to get it. I tried, And I found out it was aluminum, so I couldn't even grab it with a magnet. So I
Yeah.
couldn't fish a magnet down there and get
We were
it.
scared that it was like in the engine.
It was.
somehow.
It was in the stator. I had to pull
Oh,
the.
that's right, it was
I
in
had
the
to pull
stator.
the whole stator off to
That's
get that thing
right.
out. And
Oil. We had to redo the oil.
I had to do the oil. And it was so annoying because as soon as I pulled the bottom bolts off, it just tinkled out.
Yeah. It was
It
like,
just-
here I am.
It goes, hi. I went on a journey. You didn't want me to, but I went on one.
Yeah, I remember that day very
I was
clearly.
Yeah, I'm very calm. I'm a very calm person,
You go from 0 to 90.
except for when it comes to that. I literally run the house. I just walk around angry like Chimp Empire, just mad, just walking around.
Trying
I
to
hate myself.
exert your dominance.
I hate this. I hate motorcycles. I hate this house. I hate
I know.
everything.
It's like-
I hate it. I'm never gonna ride this bike again. Ah!
I know.
I
and
get
I'm
so
like,
mad. I get
"Calm
so
down, Chuck.
mad. I get so
Chuck,
mad.
Chuck.
I'm an idiot. I'm a moron. That's what I say.
And I'm always, calm down. We're going to figure this out. Now let's go get one of those little magnetic
It's
things.
aluminum. It's aluminum zinc.
Oh, so we can't use that. Okay. So let's just like put our thinking caps on and
Nope.
and work
Nope.
it out.
No thinking. I know what I gotta do. I gotta take the engine off. I gotta take the stator off of this thing.
So like trash the bike just because of the freaking stator. It's like I just need a new
It's so
bike.
simple. Like mechanics are probably like, "Oh my god, why are you making a big deal of it?" But for me, V-Rods are annoying because they're both standard and metric. It's just an annoying bike to work on.
Yeah.
They're amazing riding bikes, but they're annoying.
So nice to
and,
ride.
and all I wanted to know is why did some engineer go, no one's ever going to drop this bolt that's literally right here into the vacuum?
Right.
Or they were like, we have nowhere else to put this battery.
YOLO.
I guess you got to figure
You're on
it
your
out.
own.
Yeah. Speaking of Chimp Empire, you're really into that.
So if you guys get a chance on Netflix, there's this documentary called Chimp Empire.
It's good.
And it follows this tribe of chimps that are in something.
The Nagogo or something?
Ngogo or something.
Ngogo.
I can't remember the
you
name.
said it. It was Ngogo.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. In Africa, in the Congo. And it's basically this empire that went from being 50 chimps. Now they're over 200 and then there's some dissension that comes.
It's a huge chimp empire.
Huge. And watching it is just, it looks like you're watching, what's that chimp movie?
Planet of the
Planet
Apes.
of the Apes. But those were actors, right? In those Planet of the Apes.
In the originals, in the new ones, it
All
was
right.
all CGI.
CGI,
Andy
okay.
Circus or something.
So but it looked like you were watching CGI or actors in their habitat. And it's so crazy how these chimps interact with each other, how they have if you're not a part of a family, they will exclude you. If you're an orphan, they will exclude you. Their behaviors that they have within the organization, within that family, just the main chimp, the leader, having to exert his dominance every 5 minutes because it's going to be taken away by a younger chimp. And it's just so fascinating. And I don't know, it really looks like people that just don't know how to speak in a way. I mean, they're kind of more, they can't cook. So obviously they're not domesticated like that, but their interactions, the way they have relationships, the way the chimps that are left out look on
Sad.
they look sad. They literally look like they have emotions. And then the way they go about protecting their land it's very militaristic. It's very
Organized. Like
and
patrols and
yeah,
and then the way they attack is coordinated.
it's so crazy.
And God forbid you're a lone chip that gets run across by a group of chimps from a rival gang. They just mess you. It's not a question. It's just, you're done, son.
So in their, I guess, I don't know,
Tribe.
in their tribe, if you're not a part of their tribe, you're an enemy. Like, there no questions asked. You're dead. There's no, oh, we're going to take this person into our tribe and make them one of us, or, you know, be nice to them or whatever. No, you're dead. It's so crazy.
It's resources.
100%.
It's territorial resources.
Territorial resources. So
this is a series?
Yeah,
yes,
it's called Chimp
It's
Empire.
called Chimp Empire. And I think it's 4 episodes. So it's not that long, about 40 to
It's 4
45
episodes,
minutes
yeah.
each.
The guy who made it was just on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about it as well, and it was really fascinating listening to him, the stuff they left out, that type of thing. But
Yeah.
it's so good. And you know, it's interesting. There was one chip there that was 65.
Yeah.
65-year-old chimp. And you have to think about how they're constantly at war. They're constantly fighting. They're constantly scavenging. They're constantly seeking to exert dominance.
Mm-hmm.
How much has a 65-year-old chimp been through?
I know.
Do they, excuse me,
No, you're good.
do they treat the 65-year-old one as an elder?
They do.
They do.
Yeah. It's
Like,
kind of
defer to.
Yeah. They were saying there's difference depending on the chimp tribe, right? When the alpha is displaced, sometimes if he takes it well, they'll let him hang. Sometimes, though, they just say,
they off them.
you're done.
Yeah.
And some tribes, there's no question. They're just going to kill the alpha. That's how it works. But this guy, so what was the most fascinating part of the entire thing for me is going to be something so, I think, not what you would think it would be. It wasn't the fights. It wasn't it wasn't the mating process. It wasn't the organization. All that was fascinating to me, right? There was this orphan in one of the groups, and he sat on the outside constantly and would every now and then get to scavenge and be treated. No one would groom him. Grooming is how they like develop their relationships. If you get groomed back, you're in the crowd. If you don't, you're out, right? So he would go groom and they wouldn't groom him back.
It's how they communicate.
Right.
It's a grooming.
And so he's out by himself trying to forage, and he doesn't have anyone to groom him, which is, spoiler alert, by the way. This is, I think, but it's my favorite part. So
Yeah.
you should go
I
watch
know,
it.
you really liked him.
You should go watch it. It's fascinating to me. Okay. But so the orphan that was out by himself wasn't getting groomed, and grooming is how they obviously clean themselves. So he ended up getting infested with parasites, and he started getting really, really sick. And if he didn't get groomed, he was going to die. Like, he would have.
That's so crazy to think that they don't have, doctors, right? They don't have those things. And they've developed this process of grooming. I don't know I guess it's part of what they do, or is with genetically, they're predisposed to doing this. But it was crazy to think that if you don't get groomed, you not only are physically unhealthy, you're mentally unhealthy. So crazy.
And I don't think that's very far from us. If you don't get physical attention from other people, I mean, it's
yeah. Like, if you're a
detrimental
loner,
to your physical and mental health.
Correct.
So this chimp is dying, and no one is noticing. As a matter of fact, they specifically say in it, no one noticed that he hadn't been around, except for this 65-year-old chimp. And they go on this conversation where they start saying, as chimps get older, the males become more passive and more empathetic and more social. So this is like the oldest chimp that is known. And he hops down from his tree and goes over there and starts grooming him and welcomes him into the tribe and helps take care of. So this chimp is going to die. I'm watching that going, the reason why it was so impactful that moment is because that's true empathy.
Yeah.
That's not, hey, we're trying to take care of each other for the greater good because I need this guy to help me fight. He helps me get meat. He's dominant. He's bigger than me, so fear him. Or I'm a female, so I got to give it up to these males, or these males are going to beat me to death, or whatever. It's none of this animal. That's very human to me.
Yeah.
That whole seeing another animal suffer and going over there to take care of it. it just struck me as very different
Yeah.
than what we all know that they're our closest living relative, right? But it's very interesting to see what I consider to be almost exclusively human, which is true empathy for another living creature, not out of necessity, not out of tribal whatever, just this guy's going to die.
Right.
Let me go help him. Even though this might be socially risky for me, it's the right thing to do to go do it.
Yeah.
That to me is very, very, very human, and probably the most altruistic example of empathy that you would wish you would see in most human beings.
Yeah. So it's a very good documentary. I don't know. And it actually ties into the documentary I was watching previous to that, which is called Animal Baby. And in the Animal Babies, they
Obsessed.
have different stories. So there's an elephant, as a baby, and then there's another animal as a baby. But then there was this chimpanzee as a baby, and it followed the story about this young chimp who was probably like 7 or 8 years old. Is a female, and she was an orphan. Her mom died. They rarely know who their dad is. Moms are typically hoes in chimp tribes.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to call them hoes. I'd say they know they're gonna get beat to death.
True.
If they don't do.
I mean, it's a hoe and the chimp's a pimp.
Yeah, all right.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
I'm
I'm
gonna
just
beat it.
saying.
I'm gonna beat
It's a
you.
little judgmental. Call them a hoe.
If you don't put out, I'm gonna beat you.
Just saying. Be a little judgmental.
Yeah. So most chimps don't know who their father is. They assume based on when they know when the female is ready to like have another baby. It's like 4 to 5 years after they've had their child, then they can start procreating
They
again.
wave a branch at them.
So yeah.
Exactly what they do.
So their call is like, "Hey girl,
I grab a
come over
branch,
here.
like,
You see this branch?
You see this branch?
I'm gonna wave it.
Come this way. You know what happens behind this leaf? You about to find out.
It's so crazy to
You got
see.
that chimp porn.
Yeah. But they do go off into a different like part of the area to go do it.
They do. They're private about it.
They're private about it. But so this baby girl,
The worst looking bottoms I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like a volcano's erupting out of their back.
that ass though.
I'm like, why do they have such ugly asses? It's not like they have hygiene.
So the baby girl, I'm going to call her Pluma. I don't know why. I just want to. She was an orphan, and like literally nobody would touch her. She would play by herself. She would try to fend for herself, and it was so freaking sad until one day they were hungry, and like the tribe was like, if we go out into this little area, we'll get eaten by whatever, I don't know, whatever predator is there.
Is this babies? Or
Yeah,
we're about
this
to
is the babies.
This is the babies.
This is the babies. And that's what kind of tied into this.
Because I didn't
and,
see a
like,
single
making me want
episode
that.
of this.
All right, you got to watch it.
I fell asleep every time.
It's good.
So they're tiny. I don't care.
They're so cute. That's actually the chimps in their baby, like from baby to 10, they're so freaking cute. But after 10 years old, they start to look like normal chimps. And so you're like, hey, you're an adult. Bye.
I do
Can I
not.
finish the
I don't
story?
see them as cute at all. They're ugly from the jump.
I mean, but I don't know. I just think they're so
I think
cute.
people just go, oh, it's small. Small version of a big thing. That's cute.
But they don't.
I don't.
Okay, so when they're babies, their faces are more defined. You know what I mean? Like, and then when they
same
get
size
older,
head their whole life, it looks like.
they do have big heads. So the baby girl was very brave, and she went and got the food where the adults wouldn't, and she went out into the water, got the food, and so they saw that, and it welcomed her from that point on.
This chick got moxie.
Yes.
That's what they said. This chick got moxie.
Yeah, she does. She has balls, even though she's a girl. So she went out and got some food at 10 years or 7 years old, however she was. And from that point on, she was beloved in that tribe.
Well, that's a great story.
Thank you. Even though it took me 20 minutes to finish it.
I think we started on Chimp Empire. So highly recommend it. Go check out Chimp Empire. I can't vouch for the baby one, but you said it's great.
Animal babies.
I trust your opinion. I'll watch it. But I did. Every time she would put it on, I was like, okay.
We're watching this? All right. It's not as, like, dramatic and fascinating as Chimp Empire, which they actually showed us some. So the footage in the Chimp Empire was amazing. It looked like a movie.
Oh, it did.
The cinematography was great. But then they also showed us some footage of, like, just regular action video.
Yeah, stuff
It's
they
kinda
just
cool.
stuff they just happen to catch.
Yeah.
I really
kinda
liked
cool.
how they shot it because it was they took a lot of time. So listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, they spent a lot of time selecting the cameras to be as mobile as possible. Because most of those shows, as he explained, again, go listen to that podcast, are shot from a tripod. So they set the camera up and it has to be right there. But in this one, they found cameras that could shoot in those low lighting settings because there's not a lot of light
Yeah, in the jungle.
because of the canopy.
Yeah.
That were portable enough that they could get really into some cool spots. Like they were in these fights. Like the chimps are running around them while they're fighting. It's so weird. He said on the podcast that they just don't care that they're there, and I'm like,
Really?
You know what I think?
See, I haven't listened to that podcast
So I'll
yet.
tell you what. It's a great time for me to bring up one of my theories.
Okay.
You ready? Okay. So, just like we were sitting there watching those chimps, that's what aliens are doing to us.
They're here somehow.
They're
we don't
100%.
care.
Think about it. So they have interactions with fighter jets, right?
Yeah.
Chimps patrol. So my point is, the scientists. So think about it. We're just them on a much grander scale. So these incredibly evolved beings are like, oh, they got jets. All right, well, but they don't interfere with us. They probably collect us every now and then to experiment, right?
Yeah.
Just like we do chimps.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is such a huge
It's not a
leap.
far-fetched leap
for people to understand.
Because, like, you want to be top of the kingdom.
If everybody would just accept that they're not special,
We want to be special.
that we're just an animal on the planet,
We're the best.
we'll be okay.
We're the best.
We could be on this planet. I think we are. Clearly on this planet, we're probably the best. But it is ludicrous to think that with the vastness of space, there's not a civilization out there that is just more advanced than us.
Yeah.
And yes, they probably observe these weird pink, brown, and whatever color apes that are on this planet who invented nuclear weapons.
Right.
I'm sure they study us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think they would?
Sure. I think they would.
There you go.
All right.
That's
So that's
my-
Chimp Empire. So check it out. Check it out. Check it out. We also want to bring up, we watched this really awesome kind of indie film called Sisu.
Oh, Sisu is so good.
Sisu. And it's set in Finland. And it was during the World War I or II?
It was World War II.
Okay.
At the end of it, as the Nazis were being driven out, they went on a scorched earth campaign.
Yes. Scorched earth means that they were willing to burn their streets and their businesses and their homes to fend off the enemy.
It's kill, burn, murder, everything
There you go.
on your way out. So that this land, you won,
Yeah.
but you're going to pay a
But,
price.
Yeah. We're not leaving anything for you
Yeah.
to have.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So there's this guy who's probably
Well, we got, be careful. Spoiler alert. So we're going to talk a little bit about the movie
Oh,
here.
that's right.
So we got to be
I
a
do
little
tend to
careful
be overspeak.
it's brand new. So just warning, we're going to try to keep the spoiler parts
Yeah.
of it
Okay.
down.
I'll
But
try not to reveal.
But you can
who
do
this
the
person
setup
is.
because the setup is what you see in the trailer. So the
Okay.
setup should be good.
So the setup is this older gentleman who's probably in his mid to late 60s.
I'd
Yeah?
probably say early 60s.
Early 60s?
Maybe late 50s, early 60s.
Okay. And he's decided that he's having no part of this war. He's a Finnish guy. And he's having no part of this war. He's out by Sia. So you see him, and he has a horse, a dog, and a tent. And basically he's going through the land, and he's panning for gold.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes across some Nazis.
What I like about
Nazis.
so I think we can do the setup because the setup's in the movie. So what I really like about it, or in the trailer, what I really like about it is they let you feel how much work this man did to find what he found.
Right.
Right. So he finds, this is in the trailer, he finds a nugget of gold, and this leads him to a really large find, a significant find, like the kind of like
Well, it's life-changing.
Bill Gates type
Yeah.
movie, right?
Yeah.
And he spends, but they show how much he dug and all the things he did to earn this thing. And
Yeah.
and he sits there and cries when he finds it. It's like
Yeah.
a very, like, I love that they put that moment in there because it connected me to him immediately. Like, oh my God, this is a hardworking man. He got this gold. I want him to have this gold.
Right.
I care about him having this gold.
Yeah.
And then he runs across Nazis.
Yeah.
And as everybody knows, Nazis were always trying to find gold. They were super whatever. And
Yeah.
they decide to fuck with him.
Yeah.
And they should not have.
And it turned into this Tarantino-esque. I would say the action was on par with Tarantino. Now, it's not as verbose as a Tarantino movie. So there's...
Verbose.
Hey, I used a word.
Nice.
I used a big word.
Nice. I like that.
So there's not a lot of speaking, but that movie was like action packed, white knuckle the whole freaking time. 2.5, 3 hours. It was freaking amazing. The trailer does make it feel like it was going to be good. I was very pleasantly surprised that it stayed true. The trailer does not show you enough. So it gave you just enough to like get you excited, but then the movie just reveals the whole thing, and it's really good. I suggest you go watch it. It's different. It's action packed. It's gory. I'm not going to say it doesn't have some very gory parts in it, but the action and the storyline was great enough for you to like look past that and really enjoy it.
Yeah, I think the Tarantino thing is apt, but I would add Robert Rodriguez influence Tarantino.
Hey.
I'm thinking like, Death Proof.
Yes.
That type of Tarantino.
Yes.
It wasn't necessarily a Kill Bill.
Right.
It wasn't necessarily a Pulp Fiction, but it had that
Yeah.
almost over the top.
Right.
And that was the best part about it. It just escalates to what is this guy what can this guy get out? And to the point where you're like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. But it is one or two. There's one or two what I call cut the shit
moments.
Cut the shit moments. There's one or two, right? But in that movie, then you kind of go, oh, wait a minute. Now I see what they're going for. It's so over the top. It reminded me a little bit of Hardcore Henry too, and how it's just over the top. Hardcore Henry, if you haven't seen that movie, is a movie.
Person?
Yeah, it's shot in first person, so it looks kind of like a video. I gotta watch it again now. It's kind of like a video game as you're watching it, but it just continues to escalate to where this cannot get any crazier. The violence in this cannot get crazier, and it just keeps going. And it's such a unique way they shot it.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. It's not Shakespeare. Right?
No.
It's not, it's not going to be the Coen brothers, but if you want to have like a great time with some crazy set pieces, some really cool, intricate violence, and, just an unexpected hero, it reminded me a little bit of John Wick.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say it's kind of like that John Wick feel to it, to where you didn't know that this guy...
What'd you do now?
Was
messed up.
Who this guy was.
What'd you do? And then when you find out, you didn't heed the warning. The guy said ghost.
Right.
He said, leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
But there were a few where they tried really hard to add a couple little extra elements in it, that like the girl and a few other things. But
I thought that...
But it was good overall.
It was a more believable... It might be because it was coming up post World War II. So I don't really know what that environment was like.
Clear. Neither do I.
You know what I mean? No. So, but it felt more believable than John Wick.
Okay.
You know what I mean? To me, it felt like this guy could do all of these things.
Right.
And be this person.
So I highly recommend it.
Yes.
Movie I cannot highly recommend, though, is Evil Dead Rise.
Oh.
I love the Evil Dead movies. Like, I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. Like,
Yeah.
Sam Raimi is when I was a kid, that was one of the guys who made these incredibly cheap movies that were so engrossing and enthralling. And I was like, that's the guy
And entertaining.
entertaining and fun and silly.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Evil Dead, it is, when you go back and watch it now, you get it, right? The special effects are so low budget.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like Play-Doh and a few things here and there. But the story's so much fun, and the characters are so much fun, and the way that he used the camera. Like, for instance, Evil Dead Rise tries to pay homage to it in the very first, in the opening credits of the movie. So there's a famous sequence in Sam Raimi movies. Sam Raimi's known for doing low, swooping, long tracking shots. As a matter of fact, the Coen brothers actually paid homage to him when they did that shot in Raising Arizona where it goes up the ladder and into the bedroom. So there's a way that Sam Raimi filmed certain scenes that were called chase scenes, where it was like the POV of whatever this entity was that was coming up on the house, right?
Okay.
And the way he achieved the effect was he used a 2x4 that he had secured a camera to, and he had people on either side of it. So they literally could run with this thing and go up over things and down things, and it looked like, right, you couldn't tell there was two people on either side running with the camera.
Yeah.
It's such an ingenious way to get a shot that tracks through the forest, right? This long tracking shot, and it gave you such a unique perspective, and it kind of became his hallmark. These lows. If you go back and watch the original Spider-Man movie that Sam Raimi directed, there's these, and then in part 2, there's these scenes when Doc Ock is coming out where the sweeps are so low, and it's just such a good, cool scene. So in the opening of Evil Dead Rise, it starts out in the forest, which is where that scene starts out in the original Evil Dead. It starts out, and he's going through the woods, right? And so it's going through the woods, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're doing all right.
They're about to do this.
They're paying homage to Sam Raimi, so maybe these guys are gonna. But then you kind of start to notice, oh, I know what this is. This is a trick. Clearly, this is a drone or something, and it's gonna run up on somebody, and it's exactly what happened. 15 seconds into the opening sequence, I'm like, they're doing this with a drone. And as soon as I thought that, it took the entire thing away from me. The entire thing. And as I watched the show, you just cannot get that level of Sam Raimi zombie in anything that you do. I watch that terrible Marvel movie, this wizard guy, part 2, Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, the segment. Sam Raimi directed it.
Okay.
And there's sequences in there where Wanda's like half dead, and there's a dead, Doctor Strange, and it's so yummy. I love it so much. It's like I can watch that movie just because this is Sam Raimi, unlimited budget, right? And in the way spoiler alert, the way she killed the X-Men or the Illuminati in that movie is just beautiful, right? But the rest of the movie, the story's kind of garbage. But when you're watching Evil Dead Rise 2, none of that's there. None of that character. They do the Criterion, what's his name? Smorgasbord, the guy who does the body horror a lot. I can't think. Rick and Morty parodied it. I can't think of it. But where they combine a bunch of bodies together and it's supposed to be a monster. And it's like, I don't like that.
Like 5 bodies together.
Yeah. It's so
walk
weird.
together, guys.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. So yeah, Evil Dead Rise, not
good.
good.
I don't.
2 thumbs down.
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it. Just go back and watch the original. Go watch.
I was so hopeful.
Go watch Ash versus the Army of Darkness.
But the trailer was amazing for Evil Dead Rise.
It was a good trailer.
When we went to go see.
You can make anything look good in a minute.
I know. But most trailers, I'm like, oh, I know the whole movie. That one kind of gave you a little bit of, mystery to it.
A little bit. But when you watch the movie, though, it was paint by numbers.
Yeah.
It's the exact same things. This is, okay, so that girl's going to get bad, and then this one's going to get bad, and then this is going to happen. Oh, this is going to come up with this thing at the end to win. It's just,
Yep.
It was frustrating.
So not recommended by Chuck.
No, I don't recommend
Any
it.
other movies? We did see one recently in
Guardians of the
theater.
Galaxy 3 was not bad. I mean,
It was okay.
it wasn't as great as 1. I think 1 is the best one. 2, I was lukewarm on. There were some great moments.
I was
in 3.
annoyed that Gamora is actually still alive. I'm like, I thought we killed her off.
Be dead.
Well, I mean,
You died.
Thanos, you know, he gave her up for the Soul Stone. So she should be still dead.
I know. But the whole time we were watching it, that was the part. Why is she alive?
And
I
she's
don't
a
like
bitch.
this. She should be dead. She's a bitch.
And she's a bitch.
If you're going to be alive, don't be a bitch.
Like, Star-Lord wasn't nothing but nice to you. Like, he loved you. I don't understand.
This guy's super cute. He's being sweet.
He
wants to love on
He
you.
wants to love you, and then you're just rejecting him like he's a piece of shit.
I'm not that girl. You should be.
Well, I'm not that girl.
Then stay dead.
All right.
No, they brought her in from another universe, I think.
But then it was funny. Yeah, I guess. I can't just, no. I'm good.
Yeah.
I can't. It's not registering.
Well,
So she's a different Gamora?
yeah, so basically she's a younger version of Gamora from a different universe.
Oh.
So when she was
She couldn't even, like, find a twinkle in her eye to,
no,
like,
the
try
Gamora that we
love
met
him.
in the other ones was a more mature anti-Thanos Gamora. This was still like, oh, I love that guy,
okay.
type of thing.
But he killed you.
Yeah, she didn't know that. He didn't kill her. He
Yeah.
killed the other version of her.
Yeah. Cool. So what do we have going on this week, Chuck?
Well, this week we're getting ready to go to New York.
In New York City. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think you've got a bunch of planned adventures, planned little things for us to do.
Yeah.
At this age, so at my age, I've learned just show up where they tell you to show up.
Yeah, and I've learned make plans because like things are going to be sold out or you won't be able to get into places or, so it works.
So I'm
This
just like,
whole-
just tell me where you need me to be,
Yes.
and I'll be there.
So we're excited to go to New York, taking the son for his 21st birthday. So we actually can, have shots with him
I know.
at a bar, which is exciting. But we're definitely going to a Yankees game at the Bronx Stadium, which is going to be super fun. They're playing the Padres this weekend.
Nice.
So we'll see that on Sunday. And then I got reservations at a cool barbecue restaurant that's there. We're going to go to Katz's Deli because that's a staple for New York.
Barbecue in New York.
I know, but they have this really yummy mac and cheese that I fell in love with when I was looking
This
at the
salsa was
pictures.
made in New York City.
New York City.
Get a rope.
I know. We're going to New York to have barbecue, but there's so much there. It's a melting pot of deliciousness and fun and people and of course going to Chinatown, Little Italy, going to check out Soho. Going to do the works.
We're going to Broadway. We're going to do the Michael Jackson show.
We're going to try to catch a show.
Yeah.
Yes. We're going to try to catch that Michael Jackson musical, which sounds fun. And just going to have a good time and experience a very busy city. I haven't been there in over 15 years. So
Yeah, the last time I was there, I was 1999.
you were
98,
you were
98,
18, 19?
98, 99, something like that. I was young.
Yeah.
And I was there for like 2 days. I really didn't get to experience it and had no money. So it was mostly just, let me get a bagel. That's a real New York thing to do, right? Let me get a bagel.
I mean, back then you
Have money to
probably
do
didn't
shit
really
else.
need to have a ton of money,
No, I had a great time though. I think, yeah, it was good. I'm looking forward to go. I did buy a New York Yankees hat while I was there though.
Oh,
So-
cool.
So I'll get one from the actual stadium this time.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Are we doing any of the sightseeing stuff, like going to?
We're going to do the
Empire
top of
State
the rock, which I heard is better than the Empire State Building.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But
I've been to
there's
the top
this-
of the Empire.
Okay, so there's Top of the Rock, which is the Rockefeller Center,
Mhm.
and they have like a sightseeing there, which is supposedly amazing. But there's this rooftop bar at the Empire State Building that I think we should try to check out.
Okay.
That'd be fun. and if we have chance, we'll go to the Statue of Liberty. But definitely want to walk on Brooklyn Bridge.
I remember thinking, and again, it's been a while, that it was so much smaller than I thought. The Statue of Liberty. Yeah, I thought it was much, much bigger. It seems, I remember seeing it in the area.
Did you think it was like as tall as the Eiffel Tower?
I don't know what I thought. I just thought it was much bigger than it was. It seems smaller than I expected, but I really, really, really had a good time there. I remember it was a great time, so I'm looking forward to it. This is gonna be fun. Imagine how it must be nice. Like your parents are like, "Oh, it's 21st birthday. Let's take you to New York and have a good time." Right? What were you doing on your 21st?
I was working. I was working at my job, putting some people to work. Yeah. As a recruiter. It was fun.
I think I have you beat.
What were you doing?
My appendix ruptured 2 days before my 21st birthday.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
I did end up on some groovy medicines, but I was sick. Like for two weeks. It was bad. Yeah. And back then they didn't do, everybody hears appendix. What is that? It's like outpatient, right? Like let's go in and suck it out. You know, they put a little pin in you and it's gone. That's not what they had to do. They had to like
cut you open.
Yeah, I've got like a scar on my stomach. It's like that long where they had to cut it open and scrape it out, I guess. Yeah. But
yep, medicine has changed since then.
A lot. Thanks to technology.
I know. Exciting.
Probably inspired by aliens. But anyways, all right. Well, listen, I really enjoyed this week's episode of Just Us. I love talking movies with you. You know that. And you did a great job riding that motorcycle. I was very proud of you. Once or twice, I was like, because you ever seen the video? You're going to get so mad when I say this.
Oh, no. All right. So what is he going to say?
You ever seen the video of the little person that's riding a sport bike? Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's a new one out.
Where he literally has to jump off of the bike every time.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple of times where you were shifting to your leg where you were like.
I know.
Oh no.
Well, because like sometimes the road's uneven.
Exactly.
So I'm like, which side is the highest point?
She's going to jump off in a minute.
But there's this really funny reel that's on Instagram these days. And it's this girl on a sport bike. And she's literally like, her legs, and she's like moving her legs like to the side like that, like swinging them back and forth. And then when she comes to a stop, she like flips the kickstand up so that she can like sit there on the bike with the kickstand up. And then when she goes, I guess she has to like maneuver it to like kick it back to go.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Just get a shorter bike.
I know. I mean, I personally, I could ride that bike on a regular basis.
You have
but would I be? Yes. But like backing it into a parking spot or trying to find or backing it out, I would have to actually get off the bike and push it and pull it. You know, I'd have to maneuver it off the bike because it's so tall.
Yeah, there were actually a couple of times where I got on it to move it around. Yeah. And even me being as tall as I am, trying to just back it up straight wasn't as easy as even the Road Glide is. Right. So I just hopped off of it and walked it backwards.
Yep. There's some times on the Road Glide where I'm just like, wow, this is easier than the Moto Guzzi. But fun experience, fun weekend, very, very eventful weekend. We have a lot going on, but hope to catch you guys next week.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be back with some more information on when the bikes are going to be done. 2 weeks maybe is what we're hearing. I cannot wait. Oh, and we're actually working on some merch right now. So merch. Yeah. See how I said that? Like I'm a total influencer.
You
like
told me not to say.
I got some merch.
He's commenting about my slang for like this influence stuff. And now he is merch.
And we'll put out a hat and some shirts. Yeah. I think that's going to be cool.
And hey guys, we're only 110
oh my God, we just need 100
subscribers to 1,000 for our podcast, for our YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe, share with your friends.
Oh, you want another real cool update? I finally got Libs. So our podcast hosting service for Apple and a few other things is Libsyn. and they've had an error with their system. Thank you guys so much for getting that worked out. So I'm actually going to be able to upload our podcast, and they're going to go out on Apple. They're going to go out on Spotify.
Nice.
All that stuff's coming. So you'll be able to get us in all your favorite spots.
Yeah.
You won't have to come to this old YouTube app or whatever anymore. But no, guys, thank you so much. Really, truly appreciate it. Looking forward to talking to you guys next week, and have a great evening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Like and subscribe, guys.
Don't forget.